Okay, good luck to all. Well, we're up to that Kuf Mem Dalid. We're beginning in the Mishnah on Kuf Mem Gimel Amid Beis. Kuf Mem Gimel Amid Beis. Haniach Banim Gedolim Uketanim. You leave over children in Yerusha. You have older children and younger children. Hishpicha Gedolim Es Hanachasim. If the Gedolim, they go ahead and they make the property worth more. Hishpicha Le'emtza, then that goes to the full estate, and the Ketanim get the same piece of the action. So the estate has not been divided up yet. It hasn't been divided up yet. It's improved, and we'll see in the Gemara exactly how it's improved. And in that case, it goes universally distributed throughout the estate. It does not stay by the Gedolim. Obviously, the Ketanim are not doing anything, but it still stays by the whole estate. However, in Amru, if the Gedolim go to Bezdin or to Eidim, they say, we want to divide up. And says the Rashbam, and Bezdin is lazy and they don't get the job done. And these people see a good chance to make a buck. See what our father left us, and we're going ahead and going to take it. Then they do. Then they go ahead, and it's to them. Then it goes to them, right? Because if you look at Rashbam, the Gedolim tell the Ketanim, B'fnei Eidim, I amru lebezdin, I b'tzibor, Re'u, mashaniach lanu abba, u'mazaminim anu lachlik, and we're prepared to go ahead and divide the estate, take our chelik and invest, u'mashen nishbiach melchakenu, and that it gets improvement is going to be from our portion. V'nis atzlu bezdin lachlik, and bezdin is delayed. I wouldn't say that's not lazy, but delayed in dividing up. And then the shvach goes to them. So the first case, if it gets better, it's divided universally. The second case, when they go ahead and state that they want to go ahead and divide the estate up to invest, and they do, then and it's not done yet. Nonetheless, despite the fact that the estate was not been divided, the profit would go to them. A woman who improves the property, the would go to the estate. The Gemara is going to ask, why is a woman doing investing? A woman, she's not inheriting. The woman is she gets her ksuba, or she gets supported from the estate. She's not what? She's not a player. She's not a player, right? Remember, guys, we know by the ksubas, you get either mezainis or you get what? You collect your ksuba and you get out. But you're not part of the estate. So what do you mean? So therefore, the Gemara is going to say it's speaking about a woman who inherits. She says, look what my husband left me, and meaning I want to divide up, take my portion and make money. In other words, the exact same halacha would apply to her. The Gemara will make a distinction with the chiddush in each one. Now, it's mashma in the first case that if they don't say anything, the gedolim, that they always, if it gets better, it's going to go, improvement's going to go to the whole estate. Amar Rav Chaviva Bereid Rabbi Yosef, says Rav Chaviva and the son of Rabbi Yosef, Bereid the Rava, the son of Rava, Mishmei the Rava. Loi Shanu, we did not learn that it goes to the estate. Elish Shvach Nechasim, Machmas Nechasim. If it's the money from the Nechasim improving the Nechasim. Let's say you go ahead and they're not taking out their own money. The estate money is being used to go ahead and improve the estate. The estate money is hiring workers. The estate money is, so in other words, that's the case where we say that the improvement goes to the estate. After all, the investment is coming from the estate. So in that case, that's the ratio. That's the ratio. Let's say they themselves, let's say you have the estate, and now the Gedolim go ahead, they dig, they plant, they hire from their own pocket. Then in that case, it's going to go to them. So in other words, you don't always say they have to say something for it to go to them, and you don't always say it goes to the estate. If they go ahead, physically go ahead and improve the estate, they're going to get the money. If they go ahead, take money out of their own pocket, not from the estate money, invested in the estate, and hire workers to improve the estate, that goes to them. So therefore, it's not, we're qualifying, Rav is qualifying the ratio. Where the ratio says it goes to the estate, that's only if the estate goes ahead and improves the estate. The nechasim's improving the nechasim. But if it's kami machmas atzmon, the gedolim themselves, then they're going to get it. Is that really so? If the father leaves them, Amar Aleph, Ella Idyone Hasachar Le'emsa, that he leaves them over a bar. Adyoni is a bar with its covering, and they would go ahead and rent it out to go ahead and irrigate fields. In that case, the schar goes Le'emsa. But 1 second, for Adyone de Machmas Atzmehu, Adyone is by itself, meaning the Rashbam points out what do you have to do by a bar? You have to watch it that people don't steal water. So who's going to be watching it? Pashtus, the Gedolim. And that Gedolim should be like similar to them planting, digging and planting, where they themselves are doing the work. And you just told me, Rava, when they themselves do the work, it's shvach la'atzman. Yet you're telling me over here, the Brisa, udyone haschar be'emsa, it goes to the estate, right? Udyone is what? They themselves doing the work. So we're questioning Rav's premise that when they do the work themselves, and they get it. You see over here, they're doing the work by watching it and what? And nonetheless, it's going to the estate. And that the Gemara answers, Shiny and Yone, it's made for the purpose of watching. Even Ketanim are able to go ahead and watch it, right? So since they're able to watch it, it seems like it's not limited to Gedolim. Ketanim can do it also. What happens if it's a kid in a crib? What happens if a cotton that's in a crib? So that seems to be machloikis rishonim whether they would get it or not. In other words, since the possibility of a cotton doing it, ostensibly we view it as if it's done already, despite the fact that in this case the cotton can't do it. Or no, do we say you physically have to be able to do it? The second case of the Mishnah, Omru ro'u mashaniach abba harianu oisim v'oichlem v'hashpiach la'atzman. If they say to the Eidim or to Bezdin, we want to divide up and the improvements, they go to us, right? If they take their own capital or they go ahead and work themselves. Rav Safra Shavik Avua Zuze. Rav Safra was left money by his father. And I guess he had brothers. Shaplinu, he took the money. Ovid Ba Iska, he bought stuff and he sold it. Asu Ache Tavu Bedinu Kamei de Rava. And they came and they were Taveh in front of Rava. In other words, they wanted a piece of the action of the profits. Amahu, they told the brothers, Rav Safra Gava Rabahu. Your brother Rav Safra is a Gava Rabba. He's a great man. He's not going to go ahead and trouble himself. He's not going to go ahead and trouble himself for nothing. So in other words, if he's troubling himself for himself. If he's going to trouble himself, he's going to trouble himself for himself. And therefore, the Gemara wants to claim that in this case, it would be like as if Rav Safra went ahead, since he's leaving learning to work, as if he's making a statement. I'm going to go ahead now invest, right? So that's the pshat in the Gemara. Now, I saw it brought down over here, Linyan Halacha. It's very, very interesting. According to the Muka Yosef, Ubiyamenu ein anu chashuvim koyer Safra. We don't have anyone in our days. This is the Muka Yosef, I'm Rishon talking. We don't have anyone like Safra. But did Talmud Chacham come din acherim. And if you're a Talmud Chacham, you have to go ahead and state, same as anybody else. Go ahead. In other words, it's not enough just to do it. He wants to say that, if he wants to be Taina, when the Gemara says, Gava Rabahu, we don't have that in our day. Even though a person is a Talmud Chacham, we don't have that. So this heter of saying the person is such a big person, he goes ahead and takes the money and does something with it, automatically he gets the profit. We don't say that. That's the Muka Yosef. The Beis Yosef in Simreish Pei Zayin says, he doesn't agree with the Muka Yosef, and he writes in the Shulchan Aruch, Talmud Chacham, she'einu meniach terasa shouldn't leave his Torah for 1 second, and if he does, the shvach is his. And the Ramah in the Darkei Moshe brings the Muka Yosef, but in Shulchan Aruch he does not go ahead and do that. And the Sma says, Tshuva says that the Ramah is not masking with the Muka Yosef. He wants to say that he passes like the Mechaba, that we would have the heter of Rav Safra. Yes, Heshit.
Let's say he went the other way, a loss. So Rav Safra would have, let's say he took those coins, invested it, and it was a bad investment. So
no, I guess he bought schayra and he made money. We're speaking about.
But let's say he didn't make money. Let's say he went the other way. He lost. It was a bad investment. Now the coins he doesn't have to give back to the estate.
And why are you asking on Rav Safra? Why don't you ask on the Mishnah?
Okay, and the other one, the Mishnah also, and the Hanami.
So I guess it would be his loss. I'm guessing. I don't know. I'm guessing. If you're telling me it's his gain, I would say if he loses the money, it's his
That
loss.
cautious, yeah.
We're dividing. We're viewing it as if this estate is divided already. It was Besdin's, or dilly dallying around. They're not giving them the money, so he took it, and I guess we view it as he took his chelik already. What's the reason he gets the money? I would assume because we view as he took his chelik, he invested and he made the money. So conversely, if he lost it, the loss would be his. That would be the svara.
Okay.
Back in the Gemara. The woman again improves the estate, so the shvach will be lemsa. Isha binach asked me my vidita. What is the woman doing in the estate? What's the woman doing in the estate? The woman has nothing to do with the estate. She gets his mezainis, or she gets the ksuba. It's speaking about a woman who inherits. The Rashbam brings a case of a man marrying his niece. A man marries his niece, and then the father or the grandfather of dies, and the two brothers inherit, and then the niece only has a father, and no other siblings, and that father dies, so she's going to inherit along with what her brother. She's from actually a cousin from the other one, so that gets Kesa Yerusha. So Pshita Ma'adutema Kivin the Lav Darkel Lemitrach. I would say, you tell me I'm Isi Yereshes, so what's the Chiddush? The Chiddush is Af Agav V'lei Parish K'moy de Parish Dami. Since it's not normal for a woman to go ahead and do business, if she does do it, I would think she's doing it for herself, and therefore she should get she should get the profit. Kamash Malon, we don't say that. The second part, Vim Amra Ru'u Masha Niach Li Baili. See what my husband left me. She says, look what my husband left me. It's considered as if it's hers, and she's going to, whatever profit she makes is going to be a profit. Says in her pshita, it seems to be what obvious. So the shvicha milsa, since they're going to be mishabeach. After all, who is she dealing with? Ketanim, right? She's taking care of Yisayimim. The Yisayimim, they lost their father. So since it's very praiseworthy for her that she's getting praised, that look what she's doing for the kids. That she's been tareach for the Yisraelim. I would think a chuli achla, that therefore she's Michael, and therefore she does not get the profit. Kamash Malon, that no, she gets the profit. So you have a chiddush in that case. Amrab Chanina, Hamisha Hamasi Ishtoi Libnoi Gadol Bebayis. A person marries off his son. A person marries off his son Bebayis in a chas in the house. He's kana the chas in the house. He's kana the chas in the house. Says the Rashbam. Haben lo isay abayis takanas chachamim he. It's a takanas chachamim. The hilchasa b'loy taima. It's a halacha without a reason. Kidul kamon u'mesech the gidin makminalo kigon sheyesh la'aviv be'ir bayis achal adaba. The father has another house in the city to go ahead and live in. If he doesn't, obviously he's not leaving the house into his kid. So it's speaking where he has a house, and when he means hilchasa b'loy taima, we'll see Tosfos here and Bez Hashem and Gittin in a second. So the first case, a person marries off his son in a house, you need four boxes to be checked off. The dafka gadol, the dafka basula, if he marries a basula, the dafka ishtay rishayna, his first wife, the dafka shehisiu rishayn, and dafka that shehisiu rishayn, that she's getting married first. Pshita yichelei aviv bias. The aliyah. If a person goes ahead, his father's miyachik to him a house and an attic, bias kana aliyah lekana. He only acquires the house, he doesn't acquire the attic. He only meant to give him the house. Bias vachsadra, a portico in front of the house. Mahu shtei batim zeluf neimezeh imtim soloimar, that he's kind of the achsadra. What about two houses, one within each other? Well, the answers on that teku. Mesivei. Of bias, if a father's miyachid for his son, a house, and kalim in the house, bias kana, bias like kana. He's kind of what the house, the kalim. He's not kind of the house. So l'chayr, you just told me you are kind of the house. It's the house. The father has his oitzer, his treasury there, his stuff there. He leaves the stuff there. Obviously, he's leaving his stuff there. He's not being makna the house to his kid. Now, doyarmi, afilu shoivcha the yoini, even if it's a dove coop, even if it's a dove coat in the house, he's not making the house. Rabbi Yehuda, Rav Papi Amri, afilu atzitza the hartzana, even if he has barrels of this fish hash that was a very common Michael in those days, right? Fried fish hash entrails with a kemach mix in it. We have
and liver and eggs.
And correct, and that'll be correct. Thank you, Kenneth. Now, Mazucha Ansve Libre, Mashuncha married off his son, Vitalo Le Sandala, and he wanted to make sure that that the son would not inherit the house. What did he do? He hung in the house his sandals. Ravashi Nasve Libre married off his son, Vitola Ashisha Demashcha, and he went ahead and left in the house. He's telling the house a cup of shemen. In other words, by leaving something in the house, you're making a statement that I'm not being mocked in the house to my son. These three things, Shavin Rabbanon Kilchasa. The Torah equated they made a takana, says Rashbam, Hein Tiknu Es Advarim, Kach, Afa Pi She'enoi Din Torah. Right? Even though it's not a Din Torah, Kimida Midahem. Okay. The Kilchasa Blei Taima. Chadiha. One we just mentioned that a father, when he marries off his son, he goes ahead and leaves in the house. We had this earlier. The person gives a gift of all this to his wife. He's only doing it that the kid should be machshav, but not to go ahead and make her an apotropis. Idach, the third one. So let's say you have three people. You have me, Kenny, and Penny. And I want to give a present to Penny. If I give it to Penny in front of Kenny, right? It's a kinyan. It's done without a kinyan. He picks it up. The three people are present that are involved. My mishloshtin in the when they're all three around, then you're kind of now. So let's see Rashbam over here. It's the Kanas Chachamim, right? That the cover the chasen shegenai hadava lasis ishta veimakam ladaboy. It's a genai. You get married and you don't have a place to live. That's the reason they did it. Apotropis. What's the reason they did it? Danan sahade le'oka nachla habonim. It's obvious that they're not going to be oika the nachla from the kids. Since she's going ahead and she's the one attending to the estate, the executive of the estate. Since the executive of the estate. Therefore, they're going to give a covet. So this is the purpose behind these things. Even the hilchas of blei taima, but I think blei taima is interesting. And finally, b'maimit shlashtin nifgadu mafkid. You're entrusting someone to watch something. It's not only giving a present to Penny. Let's say I entrust Penny to watch something for me. It's common. In other words, what's the chiddush? You don't need them. Let's see Taisvus here. In other words, to say there's no reason, guys, the Rashbam just gave you three reasons, right? The Shepino Esabayas, some chadaite, the kivan, since he emptied out the house, the ben besmichas, that's the ben that he's going to be kind of. The guy mainly another, and he has no place to live. Svarahu shenasan like, so he cleaned out the house. The son has no place to live, so it makes sense to say that it's his. Next case, a case of the chassav the ishtay oil benoi mistama loylitain law. Mistama didn't give everything to her. Niskavin elul chabda. He wanted to mechabed her. Shleihoya minech banav b'loy klum. He's not going to leave his kids without anything. Uvemaymit shlashtin leiratzu chacham latzriach leibi edim. They want to trouble the guy to go ahead and bring edim. Velasis kinyan. The Mistama Kimin Sha'amalai B'Maimet Shlashtin Hikna Loy Legami. Mistama, he said it over in three. Right. For nearly the Maimet Shlashtin and Mechazul Machlein and Michael. It's not Michael. If you give him a present, will first become a Mekaimis. So these things are. It seems that the Konas Chachamim, but in the Milsablay time. So let me just 1 second get the. So how do you understand the Gemara, fellas? Right? It's kind of funny. The Gemara says it's the Milsablay timer. And then the Rashbam and Taisvus go ahead and give you a reason, right? It's kind of counterintuitive. So it listens to the Taisvus here, Yadalit and Gittin. Kihilchasa b'lei tam, pirish, mashemoyel liknois. The mechanics that the kinyan works is without a reason. Aval tam yesh lama tiknu chachamin. There's a reason why the Chacham said Maimed Shloshtin, not to trouble you with Adim. There's a reason why he said that the kid gets the house. And there's a reason why the woman's the apotropis. What it means, Milsablay Taima, that the actual mechanics of the kinyan, how does she become an apotropis? How are you kind of Maimed Shloshtin? How's he kind of the house? There's no kinyan over there. That's no tam, the mechanics of it. But the reason behind the doing it, performing it in the first place, that we do have a reason. So that would explain, based upon the Gemara in the Taisus and Gittin, that little reasoning behind it, it answers up everything, right? That, in other words, we know the reason for it. That Rashbam is giving a reason, Taisus is giving a reason. It's simply saying that where's the kinyan? Where is she becoming the apotropis? Where is the child being kind of the house? Where is Maimed Shloshtin and where is the kinyan? That's V'loi Tam. That there's no kinyan, but the reason behind it, there's a reason behind it. Okay, Amid Beis. Says the Mishnah. Achin hashutfin shenafel. Acha hashutfin shenafel echad mehem leumnois. One of the shutfin fall to umnis. Nafel be'emsa. Whatever he makes falls be'emsa. Okay, very cryptic what is going on over here. Rabbeinu Gershom is very clear. Let's see Rabbeinu Gershom, guys. Everyone should have Rabbeinu Gershom on the side of the Gemara. We're reading the one that says Nafel le'emsa. Nafel le'emsa. Mashe marviach ba'oisei umnis yicholek imachiv. Whatever he makes in that umnis goes to what his brothers. Bezui umnis hamelech. And what umnis are we speaking about? We're not speaking about a tradesman. We're speaking about someone working for the king. They would begin from the house that's at the top of the alley. Limnois balabayis gabai minas hamelech, to appoint the balabas as the gabai to collect the taxes of the king. Min bnei yo'ir, from the people of the city. Umashem raviach ba'isay mamin, whatever extra there was, hu shaloi, it belonged to him. Bischar shemekapsu, right, in the schar that he's gathering together the tax. The principal will go to the Oitzer HaMelech. And for either a year, a month or a year, this guy would be the gabai. And then they would take the guy in the next house. They would go down house by house. So very geschmack. The Ben Gershon tells us, so when you finally get to this guy's house and the father died and there's an estate over here and they're appointed to take care of the estate, that money from this adventure that he's working for the king and getting the little extra tax on the side, that money would go out to. So therefore, very cryptic, but that seems to me was a little more clearer than the Rashbam. So so whatever he makes goes to the tfusas abayis, to the estate. Chala, if he gets sick, and he needs to pay for your cure, and the estate has not been divided yet, he's got to pay by himself. And the Gemara is going to say it's speaking where he was paisheya when he was negligent. Tana, hi umnis lumnis hamelech. We're speaking about this umnis, we're speaking about working for the king, as we spoke out beautifully in the Rabbeinu Gershom. Tana Rabbanan. Echem in ha'achim shemineu gabai, one of the achim that was appointed as a gabai, opel mustus, he's appointed as a shaiter, as a policeman. Imachmas achim la'achim. Imachmas atzmoi la'atzmoi. So, imachmas, what does it mean? Imachmas achim. What does it mean? Imachmas achim. Says Rashi, the Rashbam, Machmas Achin, Kiminigo Ir, Lakachas Mikol Bias, Shaitarecha. They would take one guy for this job. That's similar to what the Rabbeinu Gershom. So if it's his job at that time, then what? Then it goes to the estate. However, it's Machmas Atzmai. Let's say the guy is Choshev and he's Chorif, or he's going to become a good cop, good policeman. Then what? Then he gets the money. So that's what he says. If it's like just the fact that it's his turn, then it goes to the estate. If because of this person's particular skill set, then la'atzmai. That this person has a skill set and it just happens to be their turn. Going down the alleyway, right? According to Rabbeinu Gershom, it just happens to be their turn, but they have one brother who's a charif. So I might think it's churfa caused them to make more money. Kamash Malon that no. He takes 200 zuz to learn Torah. To learn a trade. And he wants to go ahead and be fed. Now, he takes money and he's standing out on his own and he wants to be fed despite the fact not living in the house. So they say to him the following: if you live with us, you have mezainis. But if you don't live with us, you don't have mezainis. Why not? He's in the house, he gets mezainis. So he's out of the house, he gets mezainis. So it's going to say Rav Huna. Dam Rav Huna, birchas habayis beruba. Like the bracha of the bayis is by the many people in the house. In other words, if you're in a house and you have 5 people in the house, you have to use electricity, right? So you're going to pay X amount. If you have a guy in the second house and he needs electricity, so you're going to pay more. You're going to spread the wealth, right? So birchas habayis bebayis, more people in the house, right? There's more bracha in the house. Meaning, in this bracha means over here you spend less money. You spend less money because ner le'echad ner le'meya. You turn on the light, right? No matter you have 10 people in the room or 1 people in the room, you got to turn on the light. So therefore, at least give him what berchas habayis. In other words, what he would get without improving the house. Enachinami will give him that amount. That why he has to pay the doctor bills that because of his negligence. If it's an oinus, then the strapim in emsa, he's going to get the doctor bills paid from the estate. What's example of being paisheya? Kid Reb Chanina. The Reb Chanina. Reb Chanina is of the opinion. The Reb Chanina, we had this before. Reb Chanina is of the opinion. Hakol b'dei shemayim chutz mitzinum pachem. Everything's b'dei shemayim except cold, right, and hot. Shenemar tzinim pachem, right. B'derech ike shemen nafsha yerchik mehem. So in other words, you can go ahead. If you go out without a coat and catch pneumonia, it's your fault. It's your fault. Look at this taisvis. Hakol b'dei shemayim chutz mitzinum pachem. Pirish. Aryeh, if you get eaten up by a lion. Beganve, if you get killed by a robber. Habayim ala adam hakol nigzer b'dei shemayim. That's from God. Aval tzinimu pachim, right? Mizeh lo nigzer olav klum. That's not it. That wasn't. There's no gzeira from shemayim that you have to freeze to death. Yachal lishmor, that you're able to watch out for. Aval vaday moitzel abed atzmoi be'esh. If a person wants to go ahead and kill himself by burning himself to death, or drowning himself, yachal abed atzmoi is able to do that. Afa pishlei nigzer klum, even though it wasn't geyser on him. A person's life is in his hand. You can't jump off a building and say, you know what, I'm supposed to live X amount, and it's early on. The person can lose that right. This over here that we say is not comparable to the famous chazal of a kol b'dei shemayim chutz miyir shemayim. The Hasan Mayri b'midai shaladam. It's speaking about the person himself. Ma'iyah, what he will be. Gibor, strong, cholash, weak. Usher, wealthy, ani, poor. Or tall, kotzer, short. Chacham, smart, tippish, not so smart. All that's b'dei shemayim. Chutz miyir shemayim. Mashenkin over here, right, it's not speaking about that. It's speaking about a person taking care of himself. K'disa b'nida. Aval hacha, Mayri b'me'uroi sabois alad. Over here, Al Kol B'nei Shemayim Chutz Mitzinu Pachem is speaking about what? The events that happen to a person. I've spoken out many times, the Maisa with Rabramsky. Rabramsky was taken by the communists and he was put in Siberia. He was put in Siberia. He was the Rav in Slutsk, and they put him in Siberia. He was Adam Godlad Moed Moed. When he was Nifta, my Rebbe said on him, Lo'yaniach Kemaisai, and Rav Moshe was alive. My Rebbe said on Rabramsky, Lo'yaniach Kemaisai, and Rav Moshe was alive. Believe it. Rav Chaim Shmulevitz was alive. Anyway, Rav Rabramsky said that he was, when he didn't have a coat. He just had a regular shirt and everything. He turned to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and said, "Kol b'dei shemayim chutz b'tzinu pachem." In this case, I can't. This case, and he said I don't know how long he was there for. Didn't catch a cold once. And you're talking about a lot colder than Rabbi Rotkin's shul this morning, Benji. Right? It was really, if you're talking talking about really cold. Says the Mishnah. Okay, good. Okay, I'm gonna. Okay, this is Perek Zayin in Hilchas L'chiyah Matana. Minig Pashet B'roiv HaMedinos in the Rambam in Perek Zayin in L'chiyah Matana. Minig Pashet B'roiv HaMedinos Shebizman Sheyisa Adam Isha, when a person would get married, Mishalchin Lo Yireyav, they would Miyudav, they would send him with friends and those who know him, Mois, money, Yischazik Behen, Al Haitzoy Shemoitze B'Ishtai, in order to give him help, right, with the money he's spending when he gets married. Uborn Oisa Reim Hamiyudayim Shal Shalchaloi, and they would come for Olchlin, they would eat, Vishoisin and drink, and Machasin, B'Shivas Yimei HaMishta for 7 days. Oib Miksatzon were part of those days. This is called the Sheshvinin, fellas. Hakol Kiminik HaMedina. The Elu HaMoish Shemishalchin Nikra Sheshvinus. And the money that was sent is called Sheshvinus. For Oisim Shesholchu HaMois, and the one who went ahead and sent the money, for Oichlin V'Shoisin Imachasin, Nikra Sheshvinin. They're called the Sheshvinin. In English, the art school types it the groomsman. This is your buddy. But however, there's a difference. Hasheshvinus eina matana gemura. It's not an outright gift. Hadvarim yeduim shlei sholach ze asor dinarim bishvil sheyochel v'yishte bezeh v'lei sholach el mifnei shebedaita hoya shemisa hu isha. When he gets married, yachzer v'yashlech loy. He'll go ahead and return it and send it to him. K'moshe shalach loy. Just like you went ahead, gave money to your friend and accompanied him to his wedding and took care of him, he was going to go ahead and return the favor. The fikach im nasai. Okay, I didn't copy this. The fikach im nasai zaisha. If the second guy gets married, and he doesn't return it, he can be taiveya b'din. In other words, this is a halva, fellas. This is like a halva. You go ahead, your friend gets married, he needs a little help at the time of his marriage. You go to the marriage with him, you accompany him, you bring money, you eat, you drink with him, and then he returns the favor. And if he doesn't, you can be teveyet from din. And that's our mission over here. That's a very good akdama from the Rambam in Perek Zayin for Hilchos Tzchiyah Umatana. Ha'achim she'osu miktzosen sheshvinus b'chaye av, and achim they became part of the sheshvinus in the lifetime of the father. Chazu sheshvinus chazu lemtza. So, l'chara, what happens that if they go ahead and some member of the family went out and was a sheshvin, when now it comes back, it goes back not to this individual who went out, as we'll see in the Gemara, but maybe not, but it goes to the estate. Again, we're speaking about estates. We're speaking about when it's for the individual or when it's not for the estate. So, if one of someone gets married, money's taken from the estate to go ahead and facilitate this marriage. He goes and eats and drinks. Now, that same person goes ahead and comes back to the estate, goes to the estate. When he pays back, goes to the estate. Okay. Hashishvinus nigmas bebezdin. Because as the Rambam said, we quoted, we just said, we didn't see, because Shishvinus is collected in Bezdin. Right? It's collected in Bezdin. It's alva. Rashi says, Kedin alva, milva avihem. It's like the father's milva, like the father was owed something. Okay. Aval hashaleach l'chaveroi kadei yayim b'kadei shemen. If a person sends to his friend barrels of wine and barrels of oil, ein nigva b'bezdin. It's not collected in b'bezdin. Neisha gemilas chesed, because that one is what that is gemilas chesed. Rashbam aval shaleach l'chaveroi b'loi chuppah. Stamazai without a chuppah. Inami b'chupasai. Or he sends it, but he doesn't accompany him to what we call the shaver bachas, right? He doesn't come to eat and drink with him. It doesn't have the din of sheshvinas, which is collectible. Ela matana ba'alma, it's complete matana. Ugemilas chasadim, it's an act of chesed. Ve'indik was bezdin, it's not in bezdin. Okay, so the first din seemed to be that unequivocally, if any one of the brothers goes and there's a shvin, that the money that comes, if the father is owed the money from the estate, the father is owed money from the estate, and any money coming back is part of the estate. That's what we said. Says the Gemara. Ureminu alias stira, shalach le aviv, right? Shishvinus, the father sends him, one of the sons, as a shishvin, kishi chayzeres, when that son gets married, chayzeres loy, the money comes back to that son and not to the estate. There's your stira. We're going to go on, guys, but there's your stira. Again, the father sending out one of these boys as a shishvin. When the boy gets married and the shishvin comes back, it goes to the boy and not to the estate. That's not what we said in the Mishnah. Our Mishnah said money taken from the estate is returned to the estate. Next in, nishtalchel aviv shishvinis, right? Let's say what? That now was sent to the father of the father shishvinis, and now the father owes. Kishi chayzeres, when the shaleach comes to collect the money because he's getting married, chayzeres min emsa comes from the estate. Okay, so the father was when the father married off one of his kids, and the shishvin went over here. Now that shishvin is getting married, the money's taken from the estate to go ahead and pay that shishvin. That's not the kasha. The kasha is from the first case, right? We said that when you're shishvin, right, and you're going to pay the shishvin, you're going to go ahead and get the money comes back, right? You were shishvin, you were nice. Now the money, someone was a shishvin to you, and no, you were shishvin, and now you're getting married. The money goes to the estate. It's mashma. No, it goes to the individual. So we're going to have a few turutzim. Ravasi, Rabbi Yochanan, kik tanan nami mas nisan. When is our Mishnah speaking about? It's not speaking about where you were shishvin to somebody else and you're owed money. It's speaking about where someone was a shishvin to you and you owe him money. It's the second case. In other words, our Mishnah that says the money comes from the estate. Now, our Mishnah said the money comes to the estate. Here it's mashma, the money comes from the estate. In other words, we're going to do a cut and paste job. Rabbi Asi and Rabbi Yochanan is going to say our Mishnah is case number 2. Our Mishnah is where the father owes money, where one of the sons had been a shishvin, right, and now he owes the money. So it's speaking about our Mishnah speaking nishtalchel aviv tanan. Read the Gemara of Achen she'asnu miktsaslan shishvinis katani. If you look at our Mishnah, it's not mashma like that. Our Mishnah is mashma where what? Where he's owed the money, not where he's owes the money, but he's owed the money. It's mashma that what? He had been a shishvin, not that what? That the shishvin had, that the shishvin had come to him. Says the Gemara, says the Gemara, don't say shem miktsasan, tani lim miktsasan. In other words, claim they lim miktsasan, they shalchu lehem, that they sent to them, they sent to him shishvinas, and therefore they owe it. Tani lemiktsasa. Iva chazra shishvinas katani. It says that mashma that you're returning the shishvinas. Hachi kamar ligvais chazra ligvais. If he comes to collect the money, nigvas meemsa. So we were going ahead and looking at the Mishnah. We're cutting and pasting the Mishnah. Achin she'asu miktsasa and shishvinas. Achin that had shishvinas lemiktasan, that they had what? They had a shishvin had been done to part of them. A shishvin had been done to part of them, right? In Bechayav, chazur shishvinis, right? When they come to collect the shishvinis, chazur le'emtza, they collect from the estate. That's the way we're learning what? That's the way we're cutting the Mishnah up. Okay, that's the way Rav Asi answers the question. Again, why are we forced to do this? We have a stira. We have a brisa that says that if the son was a shvin for somebody else, when the shvin comes back, it goes to the son and not to the estate. Our Mishnah goes to the estate. Our Mishnah is not speaking about where the son was a shvin. It's speaking where son was a shvin to the son, and now the son owes him. Okay, that's what we're saying. That's what Vasi's teretz. Ushmul Amar, Shmuel says, Hacha biyavam maskinan. We're dealing here with the yavam. We're dealing here with where the father sent a shishvin in the hands of a son. So therefore, the son is now owed. The son gets engaged, and we send the shishvin to the son, and the son dies. And the son dies. Who takes the place of the son? One of the yavam. The yavam guys cannot get. So really, guys, watch outside. Guys, if a father had sent Harry to be a shishvin, then when Harry gets married, the money comes to Harry, like the brisa. What's our Mishnah speaking about? Harry dies. So who takes the place of Harry? Fred, his brother. Fred is like a bechor. A bechor, we said you inherit like a bechor. A bechor does not take beroi. The Mela, when the money comes back for Harry have been a shishvin, but now Fred is taking his place as Yavam, it goes to the Emsa, it goes to the estate. That's Shatna Mishnah. So we're not cutting up the Mishnah and pasting the Mishnah like Rav Asi in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, turning around the whole Mishnah on its head. We're not speaking about that. No, we're speaking about Einachinami. The estate had been the shishvin, the son had been the shishvin, and had the son survived, the money wouldn't go to the estate. The money would have gone to the son that was the shishvin. It's speaking where that son died. Since the son died, right? The money is Roy to come in. And the brother takes his place. Fred is taking the place of Harry. So Fred now will go. The money, since Fred can't collect the money, it goes to the estate. That's Pshat na Mishnah. A Mishnah speaking very Yavam. Ushmul amahacha biyavam askinon she'ein neitel beroy kibem muchzik. Now it's mashma that what that he gets it all, guys. It's mashma that Fred is getting. In other words, he's getting, but he can't take it because it's Roy, so he goes to the estate. How do you know he gets it at all? Fred, in other words, the Gemara is going to question if Harry dies, the Gemara is going to question, is there shishvinas at all? Harry was a shishvin to somebody else. He wants to pay him back. How do you know if Harry's not around that you have to make it up to his brother, to the Yavam? Right? You're saying that. How are you saying that? Says the Gemara, Mechlal, we can infer the Idach Mishalim that the shishvin has to pay. Lema, why doesn't he say? Tanuli Shishvini, give me Harry, Esmachimo, and I'll be happy with him. Tit for tat. Harry was my guy. Harry came to my wedding. Harry was there for 7 days. Harry gave me money. I'm willing to go ahead and make it up to Harry. Now Harry's dead. You want me to go ahead and give it to Fred? Mehechetesa. Give me Harry, and I'll pay him back. It's a Gavaldik Taina. It's Gavaldik Taina. Lema Tanuli Shishvini, give me Harry. Milay Tanya, the following brisa. Malkum Shinagu. So let's say that the following takes place. A man gets engaged. A man goes ahead, but he gets an arusa. Arusa means that what? They're married, but they don't live together yet. The 12 months before. And she dies. And she had got kesef kedushin. Does it go back or not? So we say malkum shinagu lahachzir hakedushin machzirin. Then the chassan will get back his money. Malkum shinagu shaloi lahachzir a machzirin loy. V'amar Rabbi Yosef says v'amar Rabbi Yosef bar Abba amar ukfa amar Shmuel loy shanu that it's totally in meaning of the makkah whether to give it back or not. Elakishemesa he where she dies. Aval Mace who, where he dies, where the husband dies, Machzirin, she doesn't have to give money back to his Yarshim. My time, what's the reason? Amid Aleph, she's able to say, Tanuli Baili, give me my husband, the Esmachba, Imai, and I'll be happy with him. In other words, he gave me money. He gave me money. You want to collect that money now, right? Give me my husband, and I'll be happy with him. So too the Shishvin Harry. The Shishvin could say, give me Harry, and I'll be happy with him. So we want to go ahead and make that correlation. Says Hachanami name Tainli Shishvini. Vesmachimai. Rabbi Yosef says, Rabbi Yosef, Hacha, our Mishnah speaking, with my Askinon Kigain, Shesamach Imai, Shiva Yemei Amishta. V'hispik lepoiroi ad shemes. Okay, he was sameach with him, right? He was sameach with him. Meaning, he came back. Whoever the Shishvin came back, he was sameach for 7 days with Harry. Harry died, and the gift is only paid at the end. So he can't say, "Give me my Shishvin, I'll be happy with him," because he was with the Shishvin and he was happy with him. And mainly, he has to give the money. In that case, the money, since Harry's not around anymore, it's considered roy. When Fred goes ahead and is miyabin Harry's widow, right? Then you would get what? Then it goes to the Emsa, it goes to the house. So we have a kasha. We have a kasha from a Mishnah. A Brisa. The Brisa says, our Mishnah seems to say that money returning for Shvin goes to Emsa. We have a Brisa that says it goes back to the individual Shvin. We have Rav Yosef in the name of Rabbi Yochanan's Teretz. No, it really goes to him. Our Mishnah is speaking with what? where you were owed, where the father owed it, and therefore we made a cut and paste job. So it's nishtalcha, it goes be'emsa, the money does come to the house, but the money goes from the estate. It's going from the estate. We have Shmuel's shot, it's speaking about a yavam. We have Shmuel's shot, it's speaking about a yavam, right? And the yavam is taking the place, in this case, it's Fred taking the place of Harry. Harry dies, but the Shishvin, now Harry, before he died, he had his Sheva brachas. It was a rusa. I guess it wasn't, they were happy before, I guess, before the marriage was consummated, and he wanted to get the money back. But he can't get the money back with the taina of giving my Shishvin, I'll be happy with him, because he was happy with him already. And since the Mashman points out from the Gemara that the doira and the gift is paid after the happiness, not at the beginning of the happiness, he doesn't have that taina. So why doesn't it go to Fred, who was taking the place of Harry and Yibum? The answer is because that's Roy, and a Yavam is called a Bechar, right? And since he's called a Bechar doesn't take Baroy Kibbutz Muchzik, and therefore it would go to the estate rather than Fred, who's taking the place of Harry.